Hi, and welcome. My name is Kelsey Gustafson, and I teach body movement for trauma resolution here in Berkeley, California, and online, accessible to anyone in the world. 4 years ago, I received an advanced certification in TCTSY, which is an evidence-based practice that was developed at the Trauma Center in Brookline, Massachusetts, as an adjunctive treatment for complex trauma, meaning it's a wonderful complement to talk therapy. TCTSY is based on neuroscience, attachment theory, and trauma theory, and has foundations in Hatha Yoga, which is a basic form of movement and a philosophy centered on nonviolence. My classes offer both a theoretical insight into trauma and trauma theory, and also a physical practice that you can use in order to rewire the neural networks in your brain and heal the impact of trauma from the bottom up on the level of our bodies. I know firsthand how frustrating and isolating it can be to access life after trauma. I've experienced it myself, and that's what motivates me to show up and do this work with groups. So if you've experienced trauma, chances are you have been through the experience of something terrible happening and not being in control of your body, living through the experience of something so intolerable that on a neurological level, a split occurred, right? It was not bearable to be in your body in that moment. It was not bearable to feel your emotions in that moment. And so people often ask me, what type of experience do you need in order to have this type of trauma? And it actually doesn't matter what the traumatic event was so much as your reaction to it, right? It's like, how scary did it feel to you? What was your body's reaction to that real or perceived danger? Some examples of the things that people live through are abuse in the relationship dynamic. So that could be verbal or emotional or physical abuse. It could be power dynamics in the workplace that feel unfair and hard to navigate. It could be the experience of neglect, the lack of receiving the amount of care and love that you need to be healthy. It could be the experience of being bullied, shamed, or humiliated. Institutional and systemic oppression, microaggressions can also lead to complex trauma. Medical emergencies, having to go to the doctor repeatedly, all can lead to the experience of something happening to your body that you're not actively saying yes to. So whether it's a tidal wave, a car crash, or an abusive relationship, all trauma survivors have that in common, that you were not in control of your body and something terrible happened. So as a result, what can occur is dissociation, separating from your body. This is such a genius design, right, in that moment of fear or danger. But the problem is when that dissociation, when that separation from your body persists for days or months or years after the event. Sometimes, if you've experienced complex trauma, meaning maybe more than one of these situations has occurred. Maybe the danger has not passed. Maybe it's still present in your life. Maybe you have a complicated trauma history where multiple layers of different terrifying experiences have occurred. Perhaps after all of this, you feel disconnected from your body. Maybe you don't often or ever feel safe. Perhaps you experience frequent anxiety or hypervigilance, watching your surroundings for your own safety. Perhaps relationships have become challenging. It can become very difficult to trust others, and your relationship with yourself might become difficult. Maybe it's uncomfortable to be in your body. Maybe you just want to be able to take a deep breath. Maybe you yearn to feel safe in your skin. Maybe a sense of self-doubt or shame or low self-esteem has taken over. If you've experienced trauma, you might not feel worthy of care. You might not feel hopeful that any of it can change. I have been there, and I understand some of this experience firsthand. And what I've discovered through using my body as a healing vessel for trauma is that it's not a life sentence and it can change. You're not stuck. Luckily, our brains are very plastic, meaning that they're flexible and they can heal. So in trauma-centered movement classes that I teach, we focus on rewiring the neural networks of the brain just by noticing our bodies, noticing the sensation in your body. We also practice movement that is on your terms. So we practice making choices in the context of our bodies so that you're in control of your body the entire time that you're in the classroom. There has been research performed at the Trauma Center that shows that this type of movement therapy done once a week for 10 weeks could significantly reduce PTSD symptoms. In one of the studies, the average participants showed a 35% decrease in trauma symptoms after 10 weeks of this method for 1 hour a week. So I'm really excited to be offering this treatment in person in Berkeley as a 10-week series, just like the research study, and also online that's now accessible from anywhere in the world. All the classes include the theory and the physical practice because I have found it extremely helpful for all the participants to understand firsthand exactly why we're doing what we're doing so that you know how it works and you can be motivated to link this into your whole life, to have a greater understanding of what it means to navigate the challenges of life after trauma. The amazing thing is that because trauma happens in the body on a physical level, it can also be healed in the body. And because trauma often occurs in relationship, it can also be healed in relationship. So these classes are an opportunity for us to do something together that's not trauma, to do something healing together. I'm here to be in relationship with you and to offer this space that's explicitly survivor-centered to be with your body. I know how hard it can be to feel anything after you've experienced the devastating impact of trauma. So we can actually imprint an experience of connection with our bodies, of making choices of what we can do with our bodies, and become more empowered to take control of our lives, take control of our bodies, so that we can have more options, more security, and ultimately experience more pleasure, joy, and freedom. So personally, after doing this practice for 4 years, I have stopped having panic attacks completely. When I used to have panic attacks at least twice a week. This practice, even though I have been doing other forms of yoga and meditation, I was still experiencing a lot of trauma symptoms. Doing a practice that's specifically designed to treat complex trauma really changed everything for me quickly, and I have heard from my students that it has a similar impact. So my body has become a place that I can come home to, a place that I trust, and a place that is a resource for me, instead of a terrifying place that holds all the pain. I really want to be able to provide a pathway for others to make that journey from body as pain to body as a resource. So if you're interested, please head over to my website and learn more. There's a free 10-minute movement practice that you can try out and see if you like it. And you can also schedule a free consultation phone call with me from my website. I have in-person classes in Berkeley, California, and online classes available if you'd like to see how you might be able to work this practice into your life. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I really hope it was helpful and to connect with you soon.